Township Board of Education November meeting. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Staples?
Here.
Mr. Kelleher?
Here.
Mrs. Servanek?
Here.
Ms. Georgiano?
Here.
Ms. Winkler?
Here. Here.
Okay, that worked. And Ms. Mount?
Here.
Mr. P?
Here. Please join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One of my pet peeves is one nation under God, all one praise. It's one of my pet peeves in life. All right. Thank you all for coming out tonight. It's nice to see this number out. Good. My report's going to be very, very short tonight. I was able, during these conferences, to make it to a couple of schools and see how it's going. It's going very well. Met with the principals in each building. Well, one principal wasn't there. Conferences seem to be going well. Good turnout, from what I understand, which is always encouraging. As we enter into the holiday season, there's so many things that are coming up. I do love to get a schedule for all the concerts and stuff. Good. Nice to go to those, get back to normal again and have concerts again. Yeah, and years, of course. So that would be encouraging. We want to recognize Linda. It's her last board meeting.
Fantastic. Thank you all.
And I do appreciate your efforts over the years. I wish you guys a blessing. Glad to see you
Thank you so much.
the next stage of your life here. Yeah. And we know that you're turning in a good end.
Certainly.
Go from there. All right. Good. And that's all I got.
All right, thank you. I'm going to start with the student recognition. Mr. Rauscher, if you can hit that up for me. I think we have some of the students here tonight, which is really nice. So please stand when I say your name, just that way we can acknowledge you in person. And I have to say, it's really nice to see such a large crowd. We don't always at the Board of Ed meeting, so it's really nice to see everyone and to have our community be back here. Where I can send you the presentation after so you can take a look. Wes, is it up there for her? Can you see it? All right, so our first person from Ridgeway Elementary is Hunter Eldridge. Is he here tonight?
He is.
So Hunter is a member of Ridgeway Junior Impact Club. He made such a positive difference during our field trips to Children's Memorial Garden on October 21st. He took on a leadership role, assisted his classmates, and guided the overall work that was completed. Congratulations, Hunter. I'm going to leave to the end, and we're going to take a quick picture after with anyone that's here on any of the recipients. So Manchester Township Elementary School, our entire Junior Impact Club is being recognized. The Junior Impact Club at MTSD went to the Children's Memorial Garden to help with the fall cleanup and planting. The students worked together to pull weeds, clean up dead leaves and pine needles, and plant tulips throughout the garden. They will be returning in the spring to get the garden ready for new plants and flowers to grow. Lady, we're also recognizing our Junior Impact Club. Thank you to the Junior Impact members for your hard work at the Children's Memorial Garden on November 4th.
For those of you that may not know what the Children's Garden is over in Tom's River, it's Wendy River Park. It's a park that's over there. It has a statue that was commemorated for Terry Carter. Graduate school years ago. How long ago was that? I know it's been a while since she graduated, but there's a statue there, a bronze statue of a girl with a butterfly that symbolizes her. That's donated by her family. And it's a park that's dedicated to those who we've lost heart broken, heart-related cancer, pediatric cancer. And if you have not been over there, if you haven't had a chance to go to it, when you go to the Wendy River Park, the ice skate rinks on this side, the park's on this side, back in the back, right on the lakeside. It's a beautiful park, and yet it's very humbling as well. We've gone through to see these children 2 days, 3 days, 5 years, all these different things that you see over there. It's a very humbling place, yet And it's also very nice that they're recognizing the great art you put in and they can see the difference that they can make. Just keep it clean for the families, those officers, juniors. It is a very lovely place, a very spiritual place to visit.
Thank you, Mr. Pate. So Regional Day School, we actually have 2 slides for Regional Day, so much happening there. So it's cool to be kind in C1. Miss Allison McCann, as well as her classroom staff and students, are working very hard at teaching students how to self-regulate, as well as show empathy towards their peers. We are modeling peer-to-peer connections, building strong relationships, and spreading kindness inside the classroom and the RDS community. And we are recognizing Jacob, Stephen, and Charlotte. Are they here tonight? Anyone here? No? Also at Regional Day, a student council assembly was conducted on Thursday, November 17th, and elections were held. On Friday, we elect new members of the student council. Congratulations to the following: Cody and Jacob, president and vice president. Travis, sergeant at arms. Tommy, our B-Pod representative. And Juan, the C-Pod representative. We also had Aiden as our treasurer. Michaela, I might need you. Amaya, is that right?
Yes.
Amaya from our A-Pod. And Myrtle for the B-Pod. And I have to say this was part of my report, but since on the slide, I had an opportunity to attend the student council event and the elections and the videos, and it was absolutely incredible. I actually wanted to cancel my meeting that led right up to it because we were having such a good time there. And if you know Regional Day, anything that they do always ends in some sort of a dance party, a celebration. And Mrs. Michaela's giving cake to everyone. So I'm sorry that I missed that. Me too. Manchester Township Middle School, we had our CHOP Championship. Ms. Toto's Family and Consumer Science students participated in the annual CHOP Championship. This year's theme was Halloween. Many spooky dishes were created. It was a fun time for all. Mrs. Morgan in the back, she participated. There she is.
I just want to make sure I'm clear about that.
And finally, for the high school, we have Juliana Griffith. Juliana is a member of the National Honor Society and Junior Achievement, vice president and a founding member of the Women's STEM Club, and a captain of cross-country team, as well as both the indoor and outdoor track teams. She also helps out with tutoring programs in school, planning to major in actuarial science and mathematics. And Juliana Griffith, our Ocean County Student of the Week. And she was recognized in 1927. So for anyone that's here that's being recognized, would you mind come up and we'll take a picture? I want to be in it. Front and center. This is the fourth grade.
Oh, perfect.
Watch yourself.
Congratulations, everybody, at Regional Day School.
I'm going to go right into my board report. So welcome to Alexis Urbanak, our student government representative, and she'll be giving us a report this evening. I already spoke about how wonderful student council elections were, but kudos to Mrs. McAllis because every time I come to RDS, in every school, but I really have to, it's such a warm welcome, it's just a great place to be, and I never want to leave. Thank you to Mrs. Teefall. I'm not sure if she's here tonight, but she's spearheaded Helping Hands for Hunger, and I was able to help out this morning. What an incredible event and a way that we can give back to our community. I know some of the teachers and staff members that are here tonight who were a part of it, and it was absolutely incredible. I hope everybody enjoyed their fall break, and then also the NJEA convention for those of you that attended. And happy Thanksgiving, a couple days away, where we get to fill our bellies with turkey, but also with gratitude. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank the Board of Education, thank the administration, teachers, staff, everyone, just for helping me and welcoming me and really just making this district incredible, because it really is a fantastic place to be. From the programs and services that we offer to the smiles when you walk in any of our schools, it really is waking up in the morning and coming to work does not feel like work. So I just love being here and I want to thank everybody. So I appreciate that. My next Java with John is going to be on November 30th. And I just wanted to highlight that because I know that some people think that the event is just particular to one school. So we're going to be hosting the Java with John here right in this room. And it really is a nice time for parents to come out. And if you have a high school age student or even middle school, bring them with you because the conversation and dialogue is really about how we can improve the school district. It's very informal. It's an opportunity for you to give feedback, ask questions. You don't have to wait for a board meeting for public session to ask questions. Not only can you call me or email me, I've given my cell phone number out, but I'm readily accessible. And if you don't feel comfortable using those avenues, I want to invite you to come to Java with John, which is on the 30th, have a cup of coffee, have a pastry, and kind of just be able to have some dialogue with me about how things are going in the district and how we can make it even better. That's 6 p.m. on November 30th, right here in this room. We have a few retirements and then also resignations. Tammy Rousseau, who is the principal secretary over at Ridgeway Elementary School with 22 years. And also Devin Patet with 25 years. And then we have a few resignations for teachers and staff that are moving on to pursue different interests, and I just want to wish them well and thank them for their commitment and their hard work. It's certainly a loss to the district, but we understand that people need to move on and pursue additional interests. So thank you for your time and your service. There's one new hire I just wanted to point out, and I know the board had an opportunity to meet her during executive session, but Ellen Healy, who is going to it's on the agenda tonight to be the new vice principal at MTSD. So we're excited for her to join our team. I know Mrs. Noun is going to talk a little bit about this, but I just wanted to thank those board members that attended the policy committee for their time and their participation, and also reading ahead on some of the policies and really making sure that we're taking into consideration feedback and really the policies that are best for the school district. I also have an item on the agenda tonight. I know I was able to reach out to most of the board members, just being able to hire in between the challenges of staffing continue to arise. And we lose certain candidates if we don't hire them right away and offer employment if we have to wait for the next Board of Ed meeting. We have a few critical positions that are open, including child study team members and some critical area of need at the high school for teaching positions, including world language and science. So thank you. And the staff, yes, we have lots of positions that we have to fill. So just being able to be timely with those recommendations and those employment offerings is huge. So thank you, I appreciate that. And the last thing I just wanted to bring up, and I did speak about this last month at the Board of Ed meeting, but just some concerns that are coming. I thank those of you that have reached out to me, in particular from Whiting, just asking questions about the school and some changes. And I know that there's a lot of rumors circulating. I encourage you to reach out to me if you do have those questions. I thank those that have emailed me or scheduled meetings to come in and talk to me about it. But I just want to make it abundantly clear that there is no decision to turn Whiting Elementary School into an early learning center. The rumors about Whiting Elementary School being closed is also the furthest thing from the truth. We value that small community. We value the school. I love being there, and I love what's coming out of those schools. But as I mentioned last month, is that we're going to engage in strategic planning beginning in January. At that time, there are a series of community conversations where you're going to be able to come out and give input about how we can make the district better. Now, we all know that the district and the community is changing. So whenever there's changes to a community, we have to make sure that we're offering the best services and programs to our students while also being fiscally responsible. So what we will have to do is engage in that strategic planning, ask some really difficult questions, and be able to make decisions and not put those of board approval. That's not something that I would simply make that decision or arbitrarily start changing the configuration of the school district. And that's not something that would happen even for next school year. These are conversations that need to be long-term. We need to look at the long-term vision of the school district. And I just want to encourage family members that please do not listen to what is on social media. If you're hearing something, reach out to me. And I'm going to give you my cell phone number, 732-648-1842. If you hear something, call me, send a text message. I will reach out to you because 99% of what's out there is perpetuated rumors that are not true. And we are trying to be as transparent as possible, and that's the purpose of engaging in strategic planning. That way every stakeholder in this community feels like their input is valued. So thank you for taking time to come out tonight. Thank you in advance for reaching out to me with any questions or concerns that you have. I care a whole lot about this community, and I want to make sure that we're offering the best education for all students in Manchester Township. Thank you.
All right, now I have a report from our student building representative.
The freshman class that has been, they had the programs currently as well as the Washington fundraisers. As of right now, they do not have any events coming up. The sophomore class had their BJ's Warehouse fundraiser as well as their bake sale. The bake sale was a great success, and their t-shirt sales did great as well. They do not have any upcoming events as well. The junior class, they had homecoming, which was a great success. The juniors will also have the concessions at the upcoming winter formal. The senior class, their powder puffing was a great success. They have a crumb cake sale that goes on until December. They will also have a flower sale through December 10th, as well as the school spirit Santa has through December 6th. The budgeting issue that was brought up at last month's meeting was resolved, and administration solution was the parents who were driving students. They will be given a form for if they would like other parents who wish to drive them to prom. They can also use a driving service, including limos and party buses. An alternate school bus will be used if there is a student who is unable to follow those accommodations. And the senior class is also listed as providing a limo or a party bus for one student each. Upcoming events are Hawkapalooza, which will be held December 14th at 6 p.m. The freshman class will have concessions. And the winter summer formal is also coming up. A date has not yet been decided though. And the blood drive held last Thursday, November 17th, was a success. And the Helping Hands for Hunger basket sorting was today in high school.
All right, Mr. Lorenzo.
All right, so just a couple quick things. We are currently in the process of working on our application for state school aid. Essentially, this is the application that determines how much state aid we're going to get. And looking at some of the numbers, and just so you guys are aware, every October 15th, we do a snapshot of our enrollment, and that's what they base our state aid on. So looking at our numbers overall, so there's a couple of different ways, there's a couple of different pieces of information in the application. So if we're just looking strictly at students that are walking into the building, this includes preschool, Manchester students we received from Lakehurst, and so on. We saw an overall decrease of about 26 students, which is not terrible. Now, one of the things.
You mean 26 from last year's enrollment?
Yes, 26 from last year's count. That's what we're talking about, total bodies walking into the district. Now, how we are funded is Manchester is funded on Manchester students only. So to get to that number, essentially what they do is they take all your preschool kids out because those are funded from a separate pot of money. And any students that we receive, so all the students that we receive from Lakehurst they get pulled out of that number. So if you're looking at our resident enrollment, our Manchester resident enrollment has dropped 109 students. So that is a little more significant. The good news is, since we've come out of COVID, our free reduced numbers have increased by 258 students over the prior year. So that's definitely going to help us with some additional funding to offset the potential resident enrollment loss. Our special education numbers are actually pretty close to last year's. I think we were up 6 kids from last year. This doesn't include our speech only. We're currently reporting 637 special education students in the district, and then there's another 78 of them that just get speech services. So we have a fairly large special education population now, but those are some of the numbers that we're dealing with, and this is what will drive our state aid. We have a bunch of contracts on the agenda this month. A couple of them, 2 of them are special education tuition contracts where we are receiving students from other school districts. We are charging them tuition. We had a program in place that was determined to be the best fit for that student. So those students will be enrolling in our district and we will be charging them tuition. One's enrolling in our ERI program and one is enrolling in a resource program. There's a contract on the agenda with Seaside Heights. For those of you that are here that may not be aware, we do have a preschool program here now. And part of that preschool program is we are required to have certain staff. So we have a contract on the agenda tonight to share services with another school district in Ocean County. We have a parent preschool instructional coach on staff here. They don't. So we'll be sharing our person with them 1 day a week. They will pay for that service. So that contract is on the agenda. We have a couple of homeless tuition contracts on the agenda. These are students that have gone homeless and are currently living in Toms River. They are past the 1-year guideline, so Toms River now is fiscally responsible for those students. So we will be sending tuition bills to Toms River for those students. My last thing is that we have a couple bids on the agenda tonight. The first one is a lease purchase. We need to purchase buses. We have buses that are coming out of service. We're allowed to keep our buses on the road for 15 years. So we do have buses that will no longer be able to use for transporting students. So this lease purchase will allow us to replace those buses.
How many buses are there?
5.
5. The 54 seaters?
2 54s and 3 24s. And then one of those will have wheelchair lifts and things like that. And then we also may be replacing 2 maintenance vehicles, which we're still trying to work on. There's also a bid that I'm asking the board to accept. This was a project that we're doing through our ESSER ARP funds. It's a building envelope project where we're replacing windows at Ridgeway Elementary. The project came in about $130,000 on the budget, so I'm recommending that bid be approved so we can move forward with that work. There's another bid on the agenda for HVAC work, and this was work that was across the district. This project came in about $800,000 over budget, so I am asking the board to reject that bid, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go out and rebid and see if we can get more interest in the project.
Are you going to modify your bid whatsoever?
First time, no, because we think some people just may have missed it.
Okay.
So our architects are working with some contractors now to see to gauge interest. If there is a lack of interest, because it is a smaller project, given what's out there, and with the wait times that are on some of this equipment, which is anywhere between 6 to 18 months, it becomes a financial thing for the contractor. So we're going to, as of now, we're going to put it out as is and see what we get. If not, we'll modify it. We'll modify scope and maybe put it out a third time if we don't get something reasonable.
When you anticipate when that bid?
It'll be advertised in the paper on Thursday with a bid opening December 9th.
December 9th?
Yeah.
We should have for next month.
Yeah, one way or the other. Okay, that's my report.
All right, any board member reports? You're going to ask you, please, keep it short.
Start with, I went to the school boards convention. I just have to say it was very nice to have in-person training. I'm not going to give you all the details, but it was nice to have people in front of them to look at had to attend the back to school night at Hilltop Nursery School. So it was nice to see those classrooms set up. I'd like to say good luck to Ms. Waldron, wish you. And last but not least, I'm the chair of the policy committee. The policy committee consists of board members, administration, central administration, and Mr. Baronato. We had a policy committee meeting on Thursday, November 18th. Next year is a CUSAC year, so we need to make sure that all of our policies are reviewed, up to date, and compliant. I would like to thank you, the staff of Manchester Township, and encourage you to continue to bring your concerns about our policies to your building administrators and or building reps, so we can consider your feedback to make possible revisions like we did for 3134, assignment of extra duties. I'd like to thank everyone for reaching out about their concerns in regards to that policy, as it helped us as we revised a lot of the language to make it less ambiguous and line it up to your contract language. We also worked on revised policy 9400. The revisions are designed to safeguard the employee and the district because we want public information to be accurate. As Board of Ed members and staff members of the Manchester Township Public Schools, it's important that one always speaks on behalf of themselves and not the district.
Is 9400 on the agenda? It is. Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
We have a communication specialist whose job is to oversee the district's community relations to protect everyone and only to share accurate information. We will be meeting in January to discuss and revise additional policies. So like I said, if you have concerns after first readings, please reach out to your building administrators and your building reps, so that way they can pass the information on to us and we consider it when we're finalizing things. And I just thank everybody for what you do for our students, and I hope everybody has a nice Thanksgiving.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll open up the floor now for public participation, agenda items only. Have something on the agenda that you would like to discuss with us before we have our voting session? Podium, identify yourself and express your concern.
So is this for new stuff? I know last time for new stuff. That was just.
Anything that's on the agenda for tonight?
Okay, so anything after.
That would be at the end of the meeting.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right, we'll close that section. Ms. Lorenzo, do we have any old business or any correspondence?
No business, no correspondence.
Okay, we'll move on to the action part of the meeting. All right, section 1A, new business numbers 1 through 3. Any motion? Motion. Any discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Staples.
Yes.
Mr. Keller.
Yes.
Mrs. Servant.
Yes.
Ms. Georgiano. Ms. Winkler.
Yes.
Yes.
I forgot you're up there. Ms. I can't see that. Ms. Mount.
Yes.
Mr. P.
Yes. B, programs and curriculum number 1. Need a motion?
Motion?
Any discussion? Hearing none, call for roll call.
Mr. Staples.
Yes.
Mr. Keller.
Yes.
Mrs. Servant. Ms. Georgiano. Ms. Winkler.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Mount.
Yes.
Mr. P.
Yes. C, transportation number 1 and 2. Need a motion? Motion. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Staples.
Yes.
Mr. Keller.
Yes.
Mrs. Servant.
Yes.
Ms. Georgiano. Ms. Winkler.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Mount.
Yes.
Mr. P.
Yes. D, contracts and agreements numbers 1 through 6. These are the ones Ms. Lorenzo was just referring to. I need a motion, please. Vote. Any discussion? What do you think?
Yes, I do have a question about number 6. It says resolution to approve the agreement to provide special education services between Manchester Township School District and the Stepping Stone for the school year. Can you explain what kind of services we might need to utilize outside of the course?
Sure. So Stepping Stones Group offers a variety of services. Right now, being able to procure teachers in certain positions, especially those critical needs areas. This is similar to the agreement that we have with MOS, where we have with an outside agency that would be able to provide us in the interim while we're hiring. Stepping Stones has a variety of services from teachers to paraprofessionals, behaviorists, RBTs. They offer a variety of staffing to help us. It's not long-term, but it's really for us to be able to, if we need to place something that we can't find a person to fill that position, we would be able to utilize this contract to fill a critical staffing need. They are a temp service, but they also offer long-term solutions. So in the event that we couldn't find someone, for instance, like a world language teacher or a special education teacher that has behavior background or a behaviorist, they would be able to keep us compliant with having those. It's like an outside agency. We do, yes.
Is a flat fee or situation?
Per situation, just like we would do with MOS. So it'd be an hourly wage, depending on the number of hours that individual works, that the contract would allow for that.
Anyone else? Roll call, please.
Mr. Staples.
Yes.
Mr. Kelleher.
Yes.
Mrs. Servant.
Yes.
Ms. Georgiano. Ms. Winkler.
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Mount.
No on number 6, yes on everything else.
And Mr. P.
Yes. E bid number 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 are up in the affirmative. Number 3 is the one we sent out. Need a motion, please?
Motion?
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Staples.
Yes.
Mr. Kelleher.
Yes.
Mrs. Servant.
Yes.
Ms. Georgiano. Correct. Yeah, it's written that way. So we can just say, yep, if you agree, we can say, yep. Ms. Winkler.
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Mount.
Yes.
Mr. P.
Yes. Section 2, A administrative, number 1 through 9. Need a motion?
Motion?
Any discussion?
Yes, I have a question on number 4. It says approve the 3-year preschool program operational plan and submission to the Department of Education. Do you have to be specifics about like where the kids will be housed, about how many kids you'll have and everything else? Like how specific is this plan going to be?
Sure, so it's very similar to our original submission. It's going to be looking at gradual expansion each year. So we had to submit the number of preschool students that we currently are servicing, and we had to project out what the next 3 years would look like. A bulk of this plan has to do with the programs and services that are required to receive the funding. And so this is just a resubmission after year 1 where you have to submit. And Dr. Burns was able to do that, submit that into NJ Homeroom. It does not include a space, so we don't have to identify where the classrooms are. We have to identify which classrooms are currently operating and how many we intend to serve next year.
All right, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Staples.
Yes.
Mr. Kelleher.
Yes.
Mrs. Servant.
Yes. I'll agree.
Ms. Georgiano. Ms. Winkler.
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Mount.
Yes.
Mr. P.
No on number 2, yes to the rest. All right, B personnel, number 1 through 48. Need a motion, please?
Second?
Any discussion? We want to extend our best wishes on behalf of the board to all those who are retiring after the years of service to our children. We appreciate your efforts. And as Mr. Ferraro said, those who are moving on to other locations, thank you for your time. Hope that you have a successful career in the future. All right, have a roll call, please.
Mr. Staples.
Yes.
Mr. Kelleher.
Yes.
Mrs. Servant.
Yes.
Ms. Georgiano. Ms. Winkler.
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Mount.
Yes.
Mr. P.
Yes. D, student personnel, number 1. Need a motion?
Motion?
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the roll call.
Mr. Staples.
Yes.
Mr. Kelleher.
Yes.
Mrs. Servant.
Yes.
Ms. Georgiano. Ms. Winkler.
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Mount.
Yes.
Mr. P.
Yes. D, special services, number 1. Need a motion?
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Staples.
Yes.
Mr. Kelleher.
Yes.
Mrs. Servant.
Yes.
Ms. Georgiano. Ms. Winkler.
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Mount.
Yes.
Mr. P.
Yes. All right, E, athletics, number 1 and 2. Need a motion?
Second?
Any discussion?
Discussion is comment, good luck to all our fall outreach or athletes and be able to
Roll call, please.
Mr. Staples.
Yes.
Mr. Kelleher.
Yes.
Mrs. Servant.
Yes.
Ms. Georgiano, Ms. Winkler,
Yes.
Ms. Mount,
Yes.
Mr. P.
Yes. Section 3A findings, numbers 1 through 5. Have a motion, please.
Motion.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Staples.
Yes.
Mr. Kelleher,
Yes.
Mr. Sirhan, Ms. Georgiano, Ms. Winkler,
Yes.
Ms. Mount,
Yes.
Mr. P.
Yes. Okay, we'll open the floor now for public participation on any item not on the agenda for tonight. The only thing, how many people plan to share?
I'm gonna share with you.
Two? Okay. The large number comes up, we'll have restricted 3 minutes, only 1 or 2. Thank you.
I'll be quick tonight. I'm Heather Kramer, College section of Manchester. I'm also a lead parent on the Manchester SAG, which is the Special Education Parent Advisory Group. I just wanted to let everyone know that our first closed meeting, which is parents and guardians of special ed parent children in district, would be Tuesday, November 29th at 6:30 at the Manchester Public Library. So if you're interested or you know anybody that may be interested in attending, please do so. The topic will be due to the COVID and the delay and missing services such as speech, OT. It's going to be compensatory services. There's a deadline to apply for those that were missed. So if concerns, it's a tender meeting. We'll have guest speakers and presentation from STAM as well. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, saw another hand in the back somewhere. Please come forward up to the podium.
Really don't want to go to the podium.
I feel like I'm in public.
My name is Emily DePaulo. I was here last meeting. I live in Whiting, Roosevelt City. I have gone to my whole life. In fact, some of these people are actually but so the few questions that I have are in regards to the Whiting School, which you did answer the one. So at this time, you're saying there is no chance that the Whiting School will be turned into the early childhood development center until after the point of discussion in January. That could be brought up, that the Whiting School could be used for that.
So there are several scenarios that will be explored. One of them could be Whiting being an early learning center, but at this point, that's not something that we've discussed.
Okay. So
Just
there's no school at this point that you plan to use.
No, in a perfect world, what we would be able to do, and we've demonstrated this with students that have IEPs, is that we want students to go to school at their home school, meaning their residential school.
Yeah.
So in a perfect world, we'd be able to accommodate all of our 3 and 4-year-olds at their home school.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Be perfect. That's so cool. And everyone agrees that that's what they want to happen, right? So then the other question I have, sorry. So right now, as you know, in Whiting, you guys had took in part of the library, indicated a resource room, or taken part of the Whiting School. So I saw last time I was in school that they were measuring more. What are the plans for the library? Do you plan on making any changes to it? Because from what I have overheard, it sounds like that's what's happening.
No, I'm just gonna say no, because
Okay.
what they were doing in there that day, the book fair,
Okay.
was, some of the offices,
Okay.
like an office had a sink in it, and we need to fit 3 desks in there, and we don't need running water in there. So
Okay.
what they were able to do was remove some of the cabinets, and they were looking at the circulation desk, and just
Okay.
making sure that everything matches there.
Okay.
Where the resource room, that extra classroom is, that was used for storage, so we really just maximized the space that we were able to do and provide additional instruction there.
Okay, so at this point, there will be no more changes, and it's still going to be the meeting.
That's always the intent,
Okay,
yes.
and then also in regards to the art and music room. Right now, we have none, and, well, we do have one, but also the instruments have been taken away, and I know at some point, arts are coming into the classroom, that's what's going to happen. Like, our kids that continue to suffer, not having to go into the classroom and be able to utilize that stuff. The instruments were actually like a big thing. However, how did we get those? Was that grant funded? All the instruments that were newer, I think it was last year or the year before?
I'm pretty sure that each parent pays for those instruments and they
So
rent them.
They were not provided to the district?
In 3rd grade, that usually is for quarter or flutophones is usually the stepping stone for 4th and 5th grade to have instrumental music. But to answer your question, Whiting School has a part-time art teacher and a part-time music teacher. And so we're really just trying to be able to maximize the space that they're using. We're actually going to be converting one of the rooms, because in an art room, it's really not ideal to have carpeting. So what we're going to be doing is laying down linoleum, something that's just a little bit more conducive to having art instruction in there. But Whiting School isn't necessarily just the only school that's making concessions. Currently at MTES, all of our music classes, including general music, is on a cart. We're Whiting their general music is in a classroom. It's the instrumental services that we try to find an alternative space for because it's such a small number of students.
So you're saying they're basically getting the same thing they would have just gotten?
That's correct. And in fact, they're getting more than what they're getting, for instance, at MTES. In terms of where they're getting the instruction is the same, the standards are the same, lessons are the same, but the actual location of those services is more ideal actually at Whiting, because you have separate classroom that's used for that instruction.
Okay.
And as far as instruments go, there have been instruments donated in the past from parents.
Okay. I don't know why I was understanding that. for some
Actually,
reason we had-
make purchases with.
I don't know why I was thinking that we actually had brand. Okay, so I got it. And then also, do you plan on at this point moving any of the grades from any of the schools to Unit?
At this time, sitting here talking to you, no, there's no discussion in terms of moving anything. Anything that's going to happen is going to have to come out of strategic planning. So what we're going to do is look at numbers like Mr. Lorenzen shared. There are challenges, and I think I want to be clear to the entire community that I'm not saying that there are no changes that are in the future.
Okay.
But as the community changes and you're hearing a declining in enrollment, 100-something students is almost half of what Whiting services at K to 5.
And what school lost the most amount of children? Was it Ridgeway? Because of all the houses that schools in Friendly and Hollywood, so what school was lost the most amount of children?
I believe it was actually middle school. It was not because they were necessarily losing school, but they had a huge class going out. And a much smaller class coming from middle school, but overall, I mean, it's definitely on this side.
But we did, so for instance, we did lose, we couldn't give you the numbers, but we did lose students at Whiting because our current kindergarten only has one section.
Yes, my daughter's in it. I understand, but I also feel like that fluctuates. Like my one son is in this school and they have 12 kids, and my other son in third grade, and they have 24 kids in each for 22. So
It
I feel
does.
like every year, I'm sure that it's just going to continue to change, right?
It does.
When my children were in school, my daughter's class was always like 15 to 17 kids in class. My son was 3 years later, he would be 16 in class.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
they were like all boys for whatever reason that year.
Okay.
But he does just, and you have to remember, look at our grades now. You remember back from 08, 09, and 10, we had that recession that went through and all the banks were closing and all that kind of stuff. People put off having children there for a period of time. So you get this shrinking class size for a few years when people weren't having children. Then when they started back having children, I think with COVID, a couple of years, we're going to put babies. So, you know, that is societal in that direction as well. That does affect the student population.
I'm not trying to be repetitive, like I said, I'm just actually, I know when I grew up with in Whiting, and we were close knit, and I still friends with people to this day, and I'm sure the other schools have that, and as we know, Whiting is 20 minutes from everywhere else. So I mean, I think that would make a big change for everyone, not just the kids who went to Whiting, if you did end up changing it, because who wants to put the third, like the 3-year-old on a bus going 20 minutes away? If you did choose Whiting, what you're saying, you're not.
But we currently do that, just to explain that to you, we have parents on the Ridgeway and MTES side of town that are putting their 3 and 4-year-old on buses to come over to Whiting.
Yeah, I would never do that, but that's fine. But again, I appreciate you answering, and I hope that you continue to stay, like you said, like open and keeping, letting us know what's going on. I know our last superintendent was very vocal and let us know what's going on, so I'm appreciating that you do the same, that there are any changes, you'll keep us.
We'll certainly articulate.
Again, I'm nervous, so sorry if I stutter.
Nothing worse, you didn't take notes. Whoever your public speaking teacher was, did a good job. All right, anyone else?
My name is Joe Sobek. I'm from Highland Park. Let me get this statement out of the way first. Following statements are made in my capacity as a private citizen and not as my capacity as a board member. These statements also are not representative of the board or its individual members and solely represent my personal opinions. All right. My biggest concern is the prom. Why is there not an option?
What? I'm sorry.
Sorry,
I think you're.
my concern is about the prom. Right now, the options are parents, limo, school bus. Why is there not an option for parents to opt out and let the children drive? They're 17 and 18-year-olds driving to school all year. We have fundraisers at Jay's Brew House, a bar and restaurant. We have fundraisers at Buffalo Wild Wings after a homecoming game where we promoted, let the students drive to that. We already give parental permission to let students drive to both swimming and bowling. Why are they not allowed to drive to prom? Why are they forced to take one of those modes of transportation?
I wasn't aware that she was driving swimming and boat, but my son was involved in working.
Well, mine were actually drove to Stratford for one of his competitions. In addition, student handbook only requires reliable transportation home from a dance. Does not stipulate driver, does not stipulate how to get to the dance. Why is this being enforced? There is no policy. That is my concern. In addition, with the absence of that policy, New Jersey Administrative Code says transportation to and from school-related activities. Private vehicles with a capacity of 8 or fewer passengers may be used for the transportation of students to and from school-related activities in accordance with policies and regulations adopted by the school district. We don't have any. Where is this coming from? That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your input.
Thank you, Mr. Servant. I'll meet with Mr. Adams to review your suggestions and I'll get back to you.
All right, anyone else? You're getting up, Mr. Ron. He doesn't see us.
No, just go for the chair.
Okay, seeing none, want to wish all of you a blessed Thanksgiving season. May we all be reflective of the blessings that we have, and wish you all a happy holiday season. Ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
All in favor?
Maybe that's there.